Welcome to Warblog. This is a video. This is really a video to test my audio because it's been driving me nuts since Microsoft updated its stupid operating system, and it's completely driving me bonkers. You know, and so I've now got a setting where the microphone is sort of like about 8 inches from where I'm speaking. I've got no gain because I'm using Windows, and so I had lots of gain. I think that was causing lots of sort of zzz, you know. I think it's picking things up like aeroplanes in the background and making them sound really weird. And I've got 80% recording levels on each. The screen recorder is 80% and the Windows recorder is 80%. I can't believe it's so difficult. I mean, I've been testing all sorts of variations, and some of them are so inaudible. You know, if the default settings are just suddenly totally inaudible. And so this is really a test for my audio. I had it. It's quite reasonable. I imagine most people say, "Oh, well, I've got a laptop. I'll buy a microphone, plug it in, and expect it to work." No one expects Microsoft Windows updates. I don't understand. So I'm going to play a game. I sort of half played this one, and I don't think I've played this one. I'm going to play this one. I'm really just trying to do my recording because it's just frustrating when all of a sudden it just doesn't work. The thing with this is that I can play it. Let's just play it. So, the thing with this game, it's sort of part and parcel of the Eritrean civil war, but it is happening at the same time. Same time as the recapture of Afabet, but it actually happened, that's wrong, 1st of June to the 1st of March, what's that? That's wrong. It was, I don't know why that's like that, but remember you can always print the games. It was happening from the 1st of March through to the 1st of June, so that's obviously, again, something that's pear-shaped to sort out. But it's happening at the same time. So whilst the government, essentially here, whilst the Ethiopian government are attacking and trying to take Afabet back from the Eritrean Peoples Liberation Army, or whatever they're called, whoever these people, the Tigre Liberation people, are taking the opportunity to the Tigre Peoples Liberation Front are taking the opportunity to move in on some of this stuff. And basically what they do, they basically capture everything because it's not particularly well defended, and all that the Ethiopian government are left with is Mekele here. So they take all this. Now I did the map before I sort of realised where these 3 places are, and these are 3 key places. The article basically says, you know, the Tigre Peoples Liberation Front take this, this, and this, and I thought that they were here, you know, sort of here, and here. One was sort of here, and one was here, and one was here, or something. And then they sort of got towards Mekele, but they're all, when I looked at them in sort of, you know, again in earnest, they're all actually here, all right next to each other. And so the map is a bit odd because obviously it's on the map, the board edge, so obviously not ideal. But you know, I mean, it's just I mean, considering that there's virtually nothing known about this, I mean, you know, I got this, you know, the entire source for this is this Times article, and that's sort of what I've been trying to do. I've been doing it for a while now, but, you know, I want to go back and look at lots of, not just this, other scenarios and, you know, situations, you know, including the Soviet-Afghan war. Not so much the Vietnam War, because it's already well documented, but these things that are quite difficult to get, even the Iran-Iraq war, there's quite a bit on that, where you know, correspondents have been pretty much the sole recorder of what's happened, and you can pick that up. You know, you can pick up sort of, you know, enough, but obviously I'm not always as good as I could be. You know, ideally I'd redo this one just like I'd redo the Afabet one, and so It doesn't matter anyway. So anyway, now the thing that's sort of not entirely clear is they hold some of these places to start off with. So they launched this sort of general offensive across, and I don't really know what it is. I think it's here. So they're basically taking. I don't think this is actually it. This is a later one, the one I'm going to do next. This is a really good. This is the free Casio Mini Color TV, and you get it for free when you go. All we ask is that you and your partner attend a Barrett presentation at one of our sales centres in England, Scotland or Wales. There you will discover the benefits of timeshare and why we call it holiday ownership, which, after all, is what it really is. Of course, you'll be under no obligation to purchase, but we think you may be tempted. I might be tempted for this little portable TV. It looks pretty nifty. But anyway, that's just something else. So this is a different one, and this is what I want to do next. But this date is 1990, and so this is it, and you've got to sort of read into this. So what I'm saying is, you can get a source and you can sort of figure things out, but a lot of this is all about the politics behind it. For example, by December, the government counterattacked, pushing the TPLF out of a handful of towns in Showa and attacking its front line in Wollo and Gondar. Well, you can see Wollo there. It doesn't say where Gondar is, but you can read these. This is what interests me. Rebel radio, monitored by the BBC, said heavy losses were inflicted on government forces during the fighting, with a total of 10 army brigades annihilated. It made no mention of rebel losses. Little things like that, 10 army brigades annihilated. This isn't just sort of like a sort of a skirmish or something. Whether or not that's, what's it called, exaggeration, we don't know. But, this is what I'm sort of looking at. And one of the reasons I sort of stuck on the Eritrean, whatever this war is because I sort of got these things from the Times, and I don't want to sort of lose them because I'll never find my way back there again. So I sort of want to do that one next. It's not as though I got something special on this thing. It's just that the newspaper clippings are sort of, I got a bunch of them. I've saved them to my desktop actually, which I think it makes it a bit easier because anyway. So that I like a variety of sources, etc., etc. But the point is, above and beyond the newspaper article, there's not really a lot of information about where units were. So they might have already taken these ones, etc., etc. Now the thing is, I'm pretty sure that we're going to have overwhelming odds. But I think what I'm anticipating the problem to be is not so much the overwhelming odds. There are overwhelming odds when you're trying to protect quite a lot, but as soon as it starts stacking up, these irregulars won't get their bonuses. So it'll be interesting to see how soon they stack up. Now I've put in quite a lot of units in here because I think that no matter how you do this, you're never going to be able to take Mekele, which in the article, not the one we just looked at, the one that actually refers to this, actually states, the Ethiopian government, they acknowledged that, all the roads, because the roads up to the northern part where Afabet is, were blocked. So this is a main supply road. Probably another one going through here, but with them taking these towns and this part, they just blocked all the roads. And the Ethiopian government saying, well, they could attack, and there's like a lot of units in here, but they don't have any hardware. So there are just units. They don't have the sort of, the tanks and the armoured cars and artillery to actually do anything. So they're sort of stuck in there and need relieving. But I put it in the hills as well. So it's a fort in a city in hills. So they're going to be pretty well defended. So I'm pretty sure that you shouldn't be able to take them with these irregulars. But once you get these things stacking up, so for example, this thing is going to fall pretty easily. So let's get the drawing tool out. So obviously we've got a front, but we don't know exactly where this front is. So, we know that this is whatever town it is. Let's see, I think we've got a map here. Let's look. This is Tigre, and Mekele is like there. If you can sort of imagine where I am at the moment. That's interesting. That's interesting because he used to have a sort of a big yellow thing that. Oh yeah, I think. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what's going on now. He used to have a little yellow thing that sort of made it where the mouse was. But anyway, so what I'm saying is this is Tigre province, so they're generally overtaking the whole of Tigre province, etc., etc. So we don't know that it was a front line here, but what I'm saying is this big stack is easily going to take that. Even this stack would probably take it. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do with this one, but I'm pretty sure that they can probably harass these. They can certainly take one or two, whether they could take two. But once this front line falls back to sort of there, and these little villages, I mean, these ones might be able to do something there. But once this sort of front line falls back to sort of there, I think it's going to be quite difficult because they're going to consolidate what they've got, you know, one way or the other, and they're going to start to have sort of fairly big stacks. And we could possibly push through here fairly well, and possibly push through here to sort of, you know, so maybe pushing that down to something quite small, and then essentially getting down to, you know, exactly what it was. But I think there's going to be this tendency for, as the forces concatenate and fall back, that their defensive positions will become stronger because they have greater forces. And I did think about putting some rockets in to sort of contend with that, because otherwise, once they get, you know, big stacks, the regulars are going to have a really hard time doing anything. And so there's no artillery in there, none there, none there, none there. I thought I gave them some rockets, but obviously not. So it's entirely down to just moving counters around, which I sort of thought I deliberately did. But anyway, so let's see what we can do with this lot. Okay. Well, that's going to be 5, so that'll be 2 to 1. So that will probably be 5 to 1, but they're probably in a village there. Yep. So that could probably be 4 to 1, so we've got one more. So this should be a 7 to 1. And we eliminated it. Now that was really good news. The really good news being that the more we can do that, the less power they're going to have, because we're going to beat it, but, you know, eliminating it means it's not falling back, and that's actually quite difficult to do with a brand new unit. So you must have rolled like less than 10 on you know, less than 10% to have been eliminated, because usually they fall back. That's one of the recent changes. So that's good. That's a good start. It means we don't have to commit this unit to sort of coming down and doing that. Instead, we can actually commit him down here against that. And you know, the thing is, bearing that in mind, bearing that sort of process in mind, I'm thinking aloud here really, it could be useful to sort of try and cut units off before. So you know, instead of just attacking it, trying to actually envelop it, or at least get behind it and push it that way, so that they're constantly being forced into more isolated and more vulnerable positions. And I don't know whether that would be sort of, you know, a legitimate strategy, but I think, you know, that might be a way to sort of look at things and do things. Now we don't really have a lot of choice here, because they're thinking that these units might just run away straight away. Now we've moved those because otherwise they could actually move here, and we could get that sort of hammer anvil type thing, and we're never going to really get anywhere with these to start off with. But what we could do is try and push these down here and at least get between that unit. So there's one more that we could possibly destroy. We could possibly try and move down here and do that there, or possibly, I mean, we're never going to get there, but somehow isolate these. And it could be that the Ethiopian player decides, well, you know, I don't want to lose any more units, and it could happen, especially if they proactively try to isolate them, and starts actually proactively moving them back to create a much stronger defensive line. So this one's going to be, you know, this tube there is going to be more defensive than made to smear. So let's see how far we can get with these. Probably the same sort of distance, 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So not really anything too exciting, I mean. I want to leave them all in one stack, but presumably with these new pending EU regulations, I mean these new pending stacking limits. Oh, sorry, I said that as a joke really. It's probably not funny at all, is it? Oh, good. It's taken 3 units to get there. So we might be able to do something with this. I wonder whether it would be quicker to move through this hill. Let's try it. 1.8. Look at that. 0.6. Now that's what I was talking about. Let's see what we can do here. 1, 2. Three. Let's see what we want to do. There. Can we get there? Yes, look at that. Oh, look at that. But no more movement. But that's sort of good because that's not the zone of control. Let's see how far we can get down this road by going through the roads. 1.8. Oh, there's so much scope for movement there. I'm moving there because I want him to retreat there. Three to 1 and a DR, so he retreated there. I like him. I do like it when the fiddly watches actually work. Everyone's out of movement now. I don't think we can do it. Not a good move. Let's try it. At least he went could have been there or there, so that was nice. It's quite interesting, really. I've forgotten all about my audio now. Here. Scrub is quite hard going. Maybe not. Well, that's that. I think that's a pretty good move, actually. It's one of these things I sort of think, well, if I could do this again, could I have optimised that a little more? I mean, I think, trying to prevent these from getting back. I mean, we certainly compromise these units. That might be a tough stack, but if you start to actually look at it, I mean, they've got obviously these 3 units that can start moving back, but we can sort of almost push down here and create a line to actually isolate those. Here we've got the potential. I mean, these can fall back, but that's it. I mean, they can concatenate that into one sort of group, but they can't protect all of these things. We've sort of put this one in a bit difficult situation. This guy's not going to be able to go too far fast. These ones might be able to sort of get there or there, but they'll be stuck in the zone of control unless they can fight their way out, which is probably doubtful. So, in short, that's a really good approach to it. I thought it was going to be a hell of a lot tougher. And it's yet to really see, what they can do. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm sure there used to be a big yellow thing. I wonder if it's in the. I'll have to look into that. There might be a thing there that sort of lets you toggle it on and off. I mean, I wonder how long it's not been there, but it used to be quite good because you could see the mouse so much clearer moving around the screen, and now you can't. I mean, I don't really know how long that's been going on for. Probably since the Microsoft update. Oh, who needs terrorists when you got Microsoft updating your computer every few weeks? Every time you switch it off, in fact, it's updating it. Anyway, so now I think that the Ethiopians probably, I'm not going to play this too far, probably want to try and create some kind of defensive cone as a default minimum like that, but probably maybe with Abiy Adi and Sikota. Now, I don't think we're going to be able to maintain those two. It is really a tough one. I think the best places that they could have had. I mean, they tried to hold there and there and create some kind of a buffer around that maybe. So, but I think definitely pushing these units back from here to these places, or possibly there. Possibly try and get to there, but I don't know what their movement is like. He can probably get into there, and he could probably get towards Maychew. We could attack that unit, but the thing is, they move so fast. I mean, if we move there and attack, that'll be all our movement, and then they'll be able to come around here, and it'll be another loss. The best thing they've got is to try and get to a defensive position, and the best thing he can do is probably move back into there, or try and run away. the thing is, the game I played yesterday, the video sort of the server was really laggy, and I gave up. And afterwards, I just was sitting there, just not directly afterwards, much later on. I thought, oh, there's a finished game, and I don't really do this that much, but I thought, oh, I'll give it a play, and I played it through. So much so, in fact, I bet you any money it's in here. No, that was me testing something. No. Yeah, this is it. I played up to there, but then I went and did all this, and if you look where the game ended, they were, none of this had been moved, and I moved all these units down here. I had a really fun time because I wasn't actually trying to do the recording at the same time, and when you're recording it, you always there's always this sort of, some part of your brain is doing the recording, and so on that I'm sort of thinking, well, what would you do with this? Well, I could actually sit there and actually enjoy it, thinking, what can this unit do? Would he be better off trying to get to Tigre? Well, let's move to there, see how long that takes. There's no point in holding that village. So that takes... Whoa! That's insane. Either he's been badly configured. They've only got 4 movement. They've been configured incorrectly. I've given them 4 movement. Yeah. Well. Well, that's going to bugger it all up completely. I'll leave him there. Now, I'm going to leave all the infantry in there, but we got the option to move some infantry out to help protect some of these outer places, which I did think about, and to be quite honest, it's actually not a bad idea. For example, Abiya Adi. What I'm going to do, I think we've got to leave 3 in there. It takes so long to get anywhere, doesn't it? And we're going to try and defend something down here. We'll leave him there in the mountains, but we're going to push him back to there. Yeah, he's got full movement as well, so it's pointless playing this with that bad movement. So we've done all that. Here, what I think we're actually going to do is move back into here and try to do something here. So we push them back, which is nice. Going to go back into there, and that's it. Okay, so let's see what we can do now. Well, I think the first thing I want to do there is that. And that. that. Completely outmaneuvering them. I know you can probably see this, but just for the sake of it. So we've protected around there, so he can only go to there, but that's a zone of control anyway, so he can only retreat there, there and there. We've put a shield around that, a shield around that, a shield around that, a shield around that, and a shield around that. The strategy is coming out perfectly, giving us essentially a front line by default, like that, with only the infantry. There's not even any motorised from this part, and this motorised unit just near the Simeon Mountains. So it's a perfect move. Anyway, I'm not going to take it any further than that, because I was only trying to sort my microphone out, and it's a really interesting scenario. I sort of want to play it more, but the thing is, I don't, because, well, I've got things to do. I've always got things to do. It's always with a bit of guilt that I spend far too long playing the game. 32 minutes, it's a long time for me. You know, it's one of the reasons I try to keep them simple. You can get this far and then you can just, you can play it later, or you can then move on to something else. I think it's important that things shouldn't take that long. They should stimulate, but other reasons, because I'm probably not likely to do it again, I'll forget, but I don't feel, I'm doing it the sort of justice, because these are obviously incorrectly configured. Now the good news is that I will be able to go into the scenario, and I can now, with a new feature that no one has actually noticed that I put in, but was quite difficult to do and was quite groundbreaking with regards to code development from my perspective. I can download the data in a CSV spreadsheet, open it up, change all these numbers to 326 from 324, upload it again quickly. Ordinarily I'd have to go in, click on this, it will give me all the stats, update it, and then watch it go around. Especially if it's slow, it can take a long time. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 operations. Take a bit of time, so I'll be able to do this quickly. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you want to play this and sort of think that you can work better as the Ethiopian government. And I'll speak to you later. Cheerio.